Welcome to Vocabulary Wednesday. I am Chris with Magoosh. Today we have words that I have taken from the ETS Verbal Question Guide. I haven't taken them from the text completions or the sentence equivalents. Rather, I have taken them from the reading passages. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that vocab does pop up in those reading passages as well. Typically, those words aren't quite as difficult as the ones you'll see in the text completions / sentence equivalences. However, they still are difficult enough, and if you're reading a passage and you trip over the vocab, then your overall understanding will be impaired. Oh no! Okay, don't get too scared. Here we have some words I picked out. A good point too is you get to see the level of the most difficult words you could expect to see on a GRE reading passages. So you've probably even heard of the word dichotomy. But what does it mean? Well, dicho means two, tomy means to cut, so the cut into two. The idea is that there are two groups that are very different. For instance, there's a dichotomy between math and verbal as far as our minds go. There's the math part of the mind. Then there's the verbal, speaking part of the mind. Two very different things. And this dichotomy, of course, is reflected in the structure of the GRE itself. We have a math section and a verbal section. So again, to split anything into two very different groups is to subject it to a dichotomy or to dichotomize it. Okay, well these words all fit into one group, and those are words gleaned from that GRE guide, including insofar. It's such a pretentious sounding word, insofar. What does it mean? Well, it means to the extent that. So for instance, I like vocabulary, I like learning GRE words insofar, to the extent that they help me with understanding what I read. As soon as the words become too difficult and esoteric, I lose interest. So there's insofar in action. Next, perturbed. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm going to study the GRE. Oh, what do I use? What sources do I use? Oh my gosh, my life is imploding. Go to our blog. But that's what perturbed is all about, that feeling of anxiety. You're disturbed, you're worried about something. And of course, GRE can make people feel perturbed sometimes, or reflects itself very well in this word, perturbed. Finally, we have ramifications. Ramifications, what does this word mean? Well, ramos means branch-like, so this comes from that Latin for branch. But it's a very interesting definition. It means the consequences of making something happen. So if we put something into action, or we say, this is going to be the new law, the new way we do things, what would be the result or the ramifications of the branching off of this one action? So the ramifications of studying the GRE using only one source. Well, it depends on what that source is, though. It could be very dangerous. Or the ramifications of not prepping for the GRE at all could mean bombing the test, not going to grad school at all, working at the pizza joint. So again, kind of the negative consequences that result from one thing is the ramifications. The ramifications of you forgetting these words is not dire, but still learn them, and they will help you on the reading passages and, of course, the text completions and sentence equivalences. And hopefully I've helped you, and I will see you next week.